In Japan, those facing paranormal problems can seek advice and assistance from the Urban Myth Dissolution Center. And that's exactly what young student Azami, the protagonist of Urban Myth Dissolution Center, does. There, after a bizarre conversation with the institute's director, she unintentionally destroys a valuable research artifact and is effectively forced to put her ability to see the invisible at the center's service, becoming one of its agents. In this new role, she begins investigating the many seemingly paranormal cases affecting the city, trying to determine whether they are genuine or if they hide a far more earthly truth. The game's writing, very much in an anime style, is well executed overall, but suffers from some pacing issues due to frequent digressions. Dialogue often reiterates obvious points or revisits the same details multiple times, unnecessarily slowing down the progression. It's a shame because the story does feature some well-placed twists and touches on difficult themes, but the writing struggles to maintain engagement. Personally, I didn't find the protagonist particularly compelling either. She often feels too passive in the face of events. But that's just a matter of personal taste. Before diving deeper into the gameplay, I want to make something clear. If you approach this game expecting a true investigative experience, you'll be disappointed. Despite what it may seem to suggest, Urban Myth Dissolution Center is primarily a narrative-driven game, divided into 6 chapters or episodes, each focused on a different urban legend. The initial phases of each case are almost identical. Investigations often begin on social media, where you'll sift through posts from the vast world of the internet in search of clues, names, or events, piecing everything together on a classic evidence board. This is arguably the most tedious part of the gameplay, and unfortunately, you'll have to repeat it over and over again, sometimes even within the same chapter. Once on the scene of the incident, you can talk to characters and search for additional clues, making use of Azami's paranormal abilities. By putting on a special pair of glasses, she can reveal hidden elements that are invisible to the naked eye. Combining all these steps leads to 2 key gameplay moments: identifying the urban legend in question and ultimately dissecting it to determine whether the case is truly paranormal or not. This entire system revolves around combining phrases or parts of them and answering small quizzes, but in a highly guided manner. At first, it might seem like a tutorial, but in reality, the game never really lets go of your hand. You're forced to follow a predetermined path, with no room for deviation, making investigations feel highly structured and repetitive. You'll find yourself doing the same things over and over, examining everything, talking to everyone about everything, and scrolling through every single web post, even the obviously useless ones, just to move the story forward. The only agency you'll have is answering the occasional multiple-choice question. But since there's no penalty for mistakes, even the laziest players can progress by guessing, as the game automatically eliminates incorrect options. Whether all of this is a flaw depends on personal taste. If you come to terms with the fact that the gameplay is almost entirely on rails, you can still enjoy the story, which takes around 12 to 15 hours to complete, depending on your reading speed. The technical aspects of Urban Myth Dissolution Center prove to be highly functional in their simplicity, with the real standout being the artistic direction. The game features pixel art visuals dominated by shades of blue, with red accents appearing during investigations to highlight interactive characters and objects, though sometimes in a slightly inelegant way with rather intrusive red triangles. The character designs are well done, and their facial expressions during dialogues and cutscenes add to their appeal. The game has no voice acting and is entirely text-based. The soundtrack is probably the aspect I noticed the least. There are some objectively good tracks, but nothing that particularly stood out to me. Taken as a narrative adventure, Urban Myth Dissolution Center manages to be enjoyable, offering a rich and layered story set in the fascinating world of urban legends. Unfortunately, some excessive padding slows the plot down to a crawl, making progression feel cumbersome and at times tedious,